This young lady is a little piece of leather, but she's well put together. I'm looking at her smile. She got her house decorated. She is such a sweetheart. Just an easy person to talk with and deal with. She's a builder. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a traditional business owner. She's a community leader, volunteer. Her and her husband run several different businesses, and she may get into that. Her husband, Brad, is a man, a real man's man. She's been in ACN 11 years, and 3.5 years as a regional vice president, a dear friend, and she also talks up at the conventions up at Lake Tahoe. And we're just we've always had her come on a call and talk, but I just get so excited when she talks about it. So her subject today is holiday conversations. Anyway, without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to Regional Vice President Platinum, Miss Keri Roeder from Sacramento area.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I always giggle when you introduce me. You always make me laugh. Such a privilege and an honor when you introduce me, when you talk about me, when we take pictures together. I know all of you, get to hear him every day, and some of you have heard me speak on here before, and I say this every time, please do not take Mr. Thomas for granted. I know that sometimes, we get familiar with our environment and we get familiar and people start calling him Al, which fine if that's what he says, but to me, he's always Mr. Thomas when we're in the professional environment, because that is the level of respect that he has acquired. One of the most successful people, not just in ACN, but in the industry globally, not just recently, but for decades, okay? The level of information that we get to learn from him, from his success, please never, ever take even 5 minutes for granted. It's funny because my phone, alerts on me all day, but when he alerts me, I'm like, I'm on it. I get like my heart pounds. I get all excited. He texted me the other day, or he called me, excuse me, and I was driving with my husband. I was like, stop talking, Mr. Thomas is calling. And, we put him on speaker and interrupted in a good way, the quality couple time we were having in order to keep our relationship going. But when Mr. L. Thomas calls, you stop what you're doing because Mr. Thomas is calling. So I just hope everybody can appreciate the value of the gentleman that you get to hear from every single day. You're very blessed, very, very, very blessed, as am I. So when I got the text or call to do this, I was super excited. And I understand that, Ms. Heather Perry's going to be here tomorrow, and you've been able to hear from Mrs. Jocelyn Driscoll. I know he's had other incredible RVPs and SVPs on here as well, like Mr. Dean Chirali. So it's always a privilege when I get to take my 20 minutes and have a conversation with everybody. So first of all, let me say good morning. I'm on the West Coast, so it's 9 o'clock, 9:09 here. So just waking up, and then my daughter's still asleep. It's the first day of her Christmas vacation. Yes, decorated our home. It's everywhere. I kind of look like I live in a Christmas store right now, but that's okay. All right. So I'm super excited about being able to have this conversation. This May will be my 12-year anniversary. So would you agree, right? I have been in ACN this will be my 11th Christmas, my 11th holiday season. So however you celebrate the holidays, when I say Christmas, I mean holiday season, right? We all have different ways in which we celebrate this time of year. So please, if I offend anybody by saying Christmas, I'm just talking about the season generically. But this is my 11th season going into being able to be around family, around, Thanksgiving, around all the holiday parties and New Year's Eve. And when I was thinking about how can I contribute to the conversation, I realized there's kind of 4 categories of people that I want to address today. So when I call out the category, if this fits into you, please just kind of pay attention. And then when I call out the next categories, if you've already had your category, just ignore me because someday it'll apply to you, but we really want you to focus on what we want you to focus on today. Okay. So the first category are for the brand new people. Like you've been in for 30 days, 60 days, at most 90 days, brand new people. This part of the conversation is for you. For those of you who have people who don't know that you have now an international e-commerce business by the name of ACN, this conversation is for you. when we're getting together with our friends and our family, and we're going to Chamber of Commerce events and business cocktail parties and stuff like that, please be mindful of, you want to introduce the conversation of, hey, you know, I have an additional stream of income. Now also be mindful of who you are and who you're talking to. See, I come from traditional business ownership. So when I'm out in the community and I'm having a conversation with another business owner or somebody who maybe is entrepreneurial like, but hasn't had an opportunity to be a business owner, I have a business conversation. Yes, I have an incredible stream of business income. If you have a regular job and you're talking to somebody else who has a regular job, you want to make sure your introduction to the conversation fits you and fits the person. But here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to just vomit. You don't want to be at a holiday party, have a cocktail in your hand or a virgin eggnog in your hand, and you just start spewing about your new business. Okay, you're just having the introductory conversation, and we always make it about the person, not the thing, right? So, for example, you're brand new and you're at a holiday party and somebody says, oh my gosh, Sarah, what's new? What's going on with you? What's new? Instead of going, oh my God, I got this new international e-commerce business called ACN, and we make 20% residual income. Blah, 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 blah. Instead of just spewing and doing what my husband calls a piquetation, where you're trying to pique their interest, but in reality, you do a little mini presentation. What that does is it halts them in their tracks and they're no longer interested. So for those of you who are brand new, and you're having a conversation with somebody you haven't invited to see the ACN opportunity, and more important, meet your leadership yet, make sure that you're keeping it contained to what your job is in the minute, okay? All your job is to say something like, oh my gosh, yeah, Bob, you know what? I just started an additional stream of income, or a business owner, I've just started an additional stream of business income. Listen, I'd really love to get you the information, but now's not the right time. I'm drinking, you're drinking, or, you know, hey, listen, we're here to celebrate the holidays. We're here to be with so-and-so. Now's not the time, but hey, you know what? I will call you tomorrow. And then stop the conversation. Stop the conversation. If they push it, just say, hey, you know what? Cheers. And move on to something else. What are you guys doing for Christmas? What are you doing for New Year? Change the conversation, okay? Do not vomit. Second part of this is follow up. Make sure you call the next day. I see that as one of the biggest challenges people have, is they're like, oh, that was so nerve-wracking. Now what do I say? Call your sponsor, call your leadership. We will guide you on what to say. So that's category number one. Category number two are for people who have been in this for less than a year. So you're in your coming up to your first holiday season, and you're now going to holiday events, and people do know that you're doing ACN. Here's what you're going to get. Oh, you still doing that, whatever, you know, however they interpreted your ACN business, still doing that security thing. You still do, we always say doing that phone thing, because that's what it was when we all started. But right, they're going to, in a way, mock you. And even if they say it politely, they're still kind of mocking you. Just be ready for that. So if we know going into this conversation that people are poking at you, oh, you're still doing that whatever thing, they're doing it to hear you say, no, I stopped. And so the fact that you haven't stopped is exactly why you now at this point, hey baby, my dog wants to talk too. Which is why exactly at this point, we need to be able to say, matter of fact, I most certainly am. But you don't just say like, oh gosh, yeah, I am. You pump up your chest, you put your chin up and you say, damn right I am, or however you need to say it, because again, I'm a Spitfire woman, right? But you absolutely, with 100% confidence, tell them, yes, I am. Matter of fact, hold on, baby. Matter of fact, sorry, I should let him out. Matter of fact, I generated enough income in my ACN opportunity that I was able to pay for, you know, presents, or I was able to whatever. You need to be truthful, 100% truthful, and we cannot disclose how much money we've made. But even if you made $100 bonus, would you agree that was enough money to pay for like my daughter's present, or, you know, my niece's present, or something of that nature? So make sure you're being truthful, but stand with pride. Absolutely, I'm still doing it. As a matter of fact, I was able to generate this much money, and it did this for me over this window of time. But speak confidently, and then after that, get out of the conversation. Make it all about them. Don't vomit. Don't do any of that stuff. At most, say, listen, I'm working with top producing regional director, Mr. Julian Lewis. He's on his way to regional vice president. I am working with him. If you want more information about how successful I'm doing, let me connect you with Mr. Lewis and he can tell you all about it, and then get out of the conversation. The point of this isn't to engage. It's not to engage, it's to peek and get out, basically, right? Like tag and then run, okay? Give some information and then stop talking. The third kind are for those of us who've been in this for more than one season of the holiday season. So this is your second or more holiday season. One of the things when you get poked at, oh, you still doing that phone thing, or that security thing, you still doing that international thing? Matter of fact, I am. Puff up your chest, put up your chin, and speak with confidence. And do this. Matter of fact, Jillian, I am. You know what? I have a huge favor to ask. All this time, I don't know how this has escaped me. All this time, could you please do me a huge favor? Could you support me? You can clearly see that I'm still going to do this. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I still need some more customers to get to my 20% residual income. Will you please do me a huge favor? You see my little girl here, right? You know this is why I'm doing this. It's a holiday season. Could you please support me? Take that leap and ask them to support you in becoming your customer. And when they say yes, great. Again, you're at a holiday party, may not be the time to whip out a laptop. Listen, I'll call you tomorrow and we'll follow through and get this done. But make sure, again, that you follow through and get it done, okay? And then again, advanced conversation when you're talking the next day and you're talking about customers. Just one last opportunity. Are you sure you wouldn't like to talk to Mr. Merrill and see a little bit more about what the ASIN opportunity, how it's evolved and changed since you saw it last time before you become my customer and make money on you, right? But that's the next day. We're talking holiday parties right now. Now, number 4. Number 4, category 4 is going to apply to some of you because it is December 20th, right? You've already been to a holiday party and you vomited, right? You did the picotation that my husband says, oh, somebody covered her mouth, right? Yeah, you've already gone too far in a conversation and you can't get it back, right? Yes, you can. Here's what you do. You call them today and you say, hey, Jill, hey, Bob, hey, Sarah, hey, John, whoever it is you vomited on, and you call them and you say, listen, I owe you the biggest apology. I am so sorry. And you, like, when you're on the phone with them, or if they don't answer, text them, I owe you an apology. Call me right away, okay? But when you get them on the phone, you vomit your apology. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, oh my God, I blew it. I'm so sorry. They're gonna be like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Gosh, remember when we were at Sam's party the other night and I just kind of spewed my information about my ACN opportunity? I was so excited, but you know what? I had a cocktail or whatever, right? My virgin eggnog just got to me and I just started spewing everywhere. I owe you an apology. That was not the right way for you to get the information as to what it is I do now. So as a favor to you, I'm going to connect you with Mr. Jillian Lewis, and I'm going to let Mr. Lewis explain the ACN opportunity in a proper way so that you can see the business information and you can independently decide outside my vomiting, what if you see value, what value you see and how you can support me potentially in my new business. So I apologize to you, but I'm going to make it up to you by doing you a favor and letting you meet Mr. Jillian Lewis. Okay, did you guys hear that language? Now, if you've already done that, I promise you, you'll get some interest. Some people will still be that brown apple negative, whatever. But you might have some open-minded people to then meet your leadership to let us see the information. So my last note in conversation about this is, for those of us who are new and have not introduced the ACN opportunity, and more importantly, our leadership, to every single adult we know, why not? Now is the time. Now people are setting goals, right? Lose weight, make more money. Well, if you help them make more money, they can afford the good gym membership, right? They can go to the good gym, not the cheap gym. They can go to the good gym where there's actual workout equipment and classes and pools and all that, right? So this is the perfect time to be sharing the ACN opportunity with everybody. So if you're brand new, this is what I want you to listen to. Introduce your leadership to everyone you know. Please do not judge. My husband and I were prejudged, and it was awful that we were prejudged because the gentleman who prejudged us didn't invite us. Fortunately, my young cousin who prejudged me in a good way said, oh, she's massively successful in business. She'll be massively successful here. Turns out he was kind of right, right? Introduced me. I made my own decision. I wanted to do this. Okay, those of you who are brand new, close your ears real quick because this part doesn't apply to you. Those of you who are not brand new, now I'm talking to you. Personal recruiting. We never stop. We never stop personal recruiting, ever. If you've already exhausted your list like I have, by the way, we haven't, because there's always people you'll think of if you just look at your social media page, which I'm really bad at, but there's always people. However, always keep recruiting. Let me give you 2 examples. Okay, just be aware of your environment. We always talk about this. Don't go hunting. Don't go out there like, oh, I'm gonna go out there and get people today. Like, oh, I'm gonna, right? No, we're fishing. Okay, when you're out shopping, which is my forte, right? So for example, the other day I was at Hobby Lobby and I had my little cart, and I'm intentional in what I do, but I have my little cart and I'm looking for something very specific. And I see this young woman who works there and I was like, excuse me, can I ask you a question? Now, be friendly, be cheery. Nobody likes the Eeyore, right? So, hey, oh my gosh, you ask a favor. I'm looking for what I was looking for at the time. She's like, oh yeah. She goes, oh, walk in. So we start walking. I'm like, so I engage in conversation as I'm pushing my cart behind. I'm like, oh my gosh, so crazy busy in here. She goes, oh my God, you have no idea. It is so busy. And I don't get paid squat and people are rude. I'm like, oh my God, I can just imagine how rude people are to you. Okay, well, you know what? And then I was my normal kindness, right? She helped me find what I was looking for. And I was like, oh my God, you're so great. Here's a saying that I say, because it really is true. When somebody does something good for me, I always say, you're my favorite person today. And they love that. They light up. They're like, I am. Yes, you're my favorite person today. Thank you for helping me, right? She got so excited. So I got what I was looking for, and then I'm filling my cart. I intentionally went back to where I found her. And I said, hey, I don't want to get you in trouble. I have a personal question for you. You had mentioned, and however I repeated what she said. And I said, I don't want to get you in trouble, but quick question. Are you open to additional income or income in addition to working here? She's like, yeah. It's okay. Well, real quick, because I don't want to get you in trouble. Let me give you my number and we can connect after work. What's your number? And I'll text you mine. Let me repeat that. Let me give you my number. Okay. And I'll call you when you get off work. What is your number? And I'll give you mine. And then I texted her my name and said, that one was, I think, Heather. Hi, Heather, this is Keri, right? Did it go through? She said, yes, it did. Fantastic. Let's connect after you get off work, okay? Example number 2, and then I'll wrap it up. This weekend, my daughter's back to playing club volleyball, and we had a tournament. And Saturday night, a group of parents and I went into a Mexican restaurant in Sacramento, and the Mexican restaurant was full. You had to have a reservation. So the group that I was with, they're like, oh, we're never going to get in. I go, give me a second. Go walk into the hostess. I'm like, hi, Merry Christmas. Oh my God, it's crazy busy in here. By chance, we have 7 people. Would we be able to get a seat? I know we were saying it's reservation only. She's like, you don't have one? I go, no. I go, but we'll sit outside. She goes, okay. She goes, you know what? It's only 7. I go, she goes, I'm gonna let you sit inside. I go, oh my God, you're my favorite person today. Thank you so much, right? So we go in, we sit, big, huge bill. Everybody has a good time. The next day, Sunday, we were playing during the day, so we had a long break. So my husband and one of the other dads and I were like, let's go and eat, okay? So we go back to this Mexican restaurant. I walk in, she goes, you're back. I go, you remembered me? She's like, well, of course I did. Ding, 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 you're mine, right? So engaged with her, complimented her about last night, how she handled ugly people, all this stuff, right? When I was walking out the door, I said, again, I don't want to get you in trouble, but listen, you are amazing. Let me ask you a quick question, a weird question. Are you open to extra income in addition to working here? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I don't want to get you in trouble. Let me give you my number. We can connect when you get off work. What's your number? And I'll give you mine. Did it go through, Emily? It did. Great, right? So now follow up on this. The Hobby Lobby lady. Oh, it's so busy. I don't get paid much. La, la, la. Are you open? Yeah. Guess what? MIA. Whatever, you're not who I'm looking for. I have an opportunity. You're open to extra income, but you won't even have a conversation with me? Next, except for the next time I go to Hobby Lobby, I am going to find her again, okay? However, last night, texted Emily at the Mexican food restaurant. We're talking tomorrow at 2. Okay, so always keep recruiting. Now, those of you who are new, you can open your ears back up again because you don't do that until you've exhausted your current list of people you know, okay? Ears are all open. So that's all I have for today, Mr. Thomas. I do appreciate the opportunity to talk with everybody. I also want to say that, again, during this holiday season, we all celebrate in different ways, right? Starting with Thanksgiving all the way up until the new year. Here's what I hope and pray for every single one of you. I hope that every single one of you take time to relax, take time to breathe, take time to celebrate, take time to be joyful, take time to be thankful and grateful for what you do have. Take time to really plan out your future and dream big. Take time to hug the people you love, kiss the people you love. A present doesn't mean expensive. A present is something that you can simple and you can wrap it up pretty. And when you hand it, you can say, listen, I love you and I appreciate you in my life. And here is just something simple for me to tell that to you. And every time you look at this, I hope that you think of me and you know how much value you have in my life. My husband and daughter and I experienced massive loss this year. We lost my father-in-law, massive loss. And this has been a really rough year. Yet we are going to celebrate what we have and who we are still with. And even though we go through hard times, it's still important to remember what this season is for. It's for joy and love and laughter and giving and embracing and dreaming. So next Monday, when I do this presentation, this won't be my backdrop. I'll actually be in Pismo Beach at a house we rented to distract ourselves from the fact that we no longer have my father-in-law. So hopefully I can have the backdrop of the ocean, because apparently this house is like right off the ocean. So if I can do it outside and show you the ocean, I will. But I appreciate the opportunity again. I hope every one of you have a very blessed holiday. And when you wake up on the 25th, you wake up, and I hope actually I go through your head and your heart, and you know that I love you and that I care for you, which is why I agreed when Mr. Thomas asked me to do this, that I would take the time out, because every single one of you matter. Every single one of you have value. Every single one of you are loved. And even if it's just by that, maybe you don't recognize it, but you are. So I'm going to turn this back over to you, Mr. Thomas, and thank you again for letting me have an opportunity.